Hey everybody, today I'm obviously on vacation, so I thought I would, instead of doing ICF and all that, we're just gonna do a kind of informal tour of two of my favorite things. One, the OneWheel XR that I've had for about a month, and I've already got like 250 miles on it because I play on it like every single night, and Dauphin Island, my home away from home. And it's one of the most historical places you've never heard of, and we're just gonna go all over the place. I'm gonna show you all the high spots that I can think of that I can reach in a single ride on this thing. So we're about to buzz out. We just had lunch in my breakfast spot. This is Green Park. It's right next to the Ship and Shore, which is also known as Bins by the locals. But it's right on the main drag as you come into the island. I usually grab a coffee at the bakery or the Chevron in the morning before work kicks off. And I sit here under this amazing live oak and just have a little peace and quiet before work kicks off. So anyway, we're gonna head out. I'm gonna show you, like I said, as many things as I can in one ride. Okay, behind me is everybody's favorite spot, it seems like. We read our guest book and everybody talks about the Lighthouse Bakery. It's actually closed. It closed up on Monday, this is Tuesday, for 2 weeks. It closes every October to do maintenance. I think the owners go on vacation. But super cool, it's been around since the 90s, I think, and it's just like a staple of the island. Best coffee, just, I mean, awesome cinnamon rolls, and everybody that hits the island has to check this place out at least once. All right, so these little fish camps are like really well known because they're right on the main drag as you come across the bridge, and they got really nice boat lifts. It's funny because the houses are tiny. They got a super nice boat lift, but right next to it is the Alabama Deep Sea Fishing Rodeo, which is the home to the biggest single fishing tournament in the country each year. It's a big deep sea fishing tournament. Thousands of boats. It just, I mean, you can't hardly get on or off the island during the tournament because it is so camps, and there's a bunch of other ones over here that are like a normal size house, but really popular. Like I said, Dauphin Island, their unofficial motto is a quaint little drinking village with a bit of a fishing problem. So this place is called the Goat Trees. Everybody knows on the island about the Goat Trees, and it's actually kind of a funny story why it's called the Goat Trees. You know, 100 years ago when the island was still pretty, there was no bridge that came to the island. Everybody lived here, was here all the time. There were semi-feral herds of goats that people owned or, you know, people raised, and there were still a lot of alligators on the island. Now there's only a few alligators, but they would eat the goats at night. So they got to where the goats would actually roost up in these trees behind me. These are like 500 and 600-year-old live oaks. And I've got a picture I'll show you right here of the goats sitting up in these trees at night. So it's just kind of a funny little thing, but they're really, really pretty live oaks. And there's a whole park behind me full of them. So. Alright guys, we've gotten our way down all the way to the east end almost. We're in Cadillac Park right now. Cadillac Park is named after a guy named Cadillac who was the second governor of Louisiana when the capital of the entire Louisiana territory was on the island on this spot. So this is where he lived and ran all of Louisiana. Before he came here, he actually founded Detroit, which is why Cadillacs have their name. So this park is his namesake, and you see my photo bombers back here are doing what everybody does. This is probably the most climbed tree on Dauphin Island. It's a live oak. It's just got a really inviting slope to it, so people climb it on the regular. So anyway, really cool place to check out when you're checking out the east end. We're making our way down to the bird sanctuary in the fort right now. Island Bird Sanctuary. It actually runs all the way from Bienville Boulevard all the way to the beach. It's got a big lake with a couple alligators in it usually, but it's really well known because birds from literally all over North America end up landing here on their way south. So it's a nationally known place to bird watch. So it's a nature preserve with a bunch of trails. It actually borders the campground. So if you're ever staying in the campground, the trails actually come right in off of there. But it's a really nice park, a lot of, like, several miles of trails, and like I said, birds from, really rare birds from all over the world, or at least all over North America, are here depending on what time of year. So. Which is it's really famous from the Battle of Mobile Bay, but it's got a lot more history than just the Civil War and that battle. It was commissioned in 1821 during the War of 1812. Everybody knows about Andrew Jackson and the Battle of New Orleans, but he also fought a lot of he fought the British right here in the bay, right behind us. There was a fort called Fort Boyer at the time. And so it went back to, you know, that whole battle really shaped the whole shape of the United States, because had he lost, the British were going to claim Louisiana. So, you know, we have that to, we have, you know, to be thankful that we're in the U.S. because of all that stuff that went on back in the 1800s. Everybody's getting a little, you know, worn out from the ride. We're all the way on the other end of the island now. This is the very far east end. We are, of course, 5 miles, our house is 5 miles west of here. We're going to head back here in a minute. But this is one of my favorite things. It just amazes me that this fort is one of the best preserved Civil War forts in the country. So it's something you've got to tour. There's so much amazing history inside there. There's still cannonball holes in the walls. Super cool. Like I said, the island's awesome. There's so many different things. There's something for everybody. But this is one of my personal favorites. I'll show you guys some drone stuff as we get turned around and head back. So taking you all over the island, I just wanted to kind of conclude the one wheel part of the video, and obviously the XR, I did a good range test today because they claim it's from 12 to 18 miles, which is a pretty wide range, and I've always assumed it's probably closer to the upper end because I've ridden it about 14 miles a couple of times in Springfield. It's got a lot of hills, and I've regenerated 6 to 7% of my battery over that 14 miles. And I've still had upper 20s% left on the battery, so I could say, oh yeah, you can totally make 18 miles. I got to the island where the elevation doesn't change 10 feet in the whole island. It's very flat, and it's been really windy. We're in the winter, almost. I mean, it's October, so we've got a lot of wind. The first couple of days, we had sustained 20-knot winds with gusts over 30, and I noticed a very big difference. I can get 5.5–6% per mile usage on a normal day in Springfield or even here, But when I was into the wind and really pushing, 17, 18 miles per hour, I was doing 8% or more per mile, which brings you down to that 12-mile range. So I actually get why they have such a wide range. It really depends on terrain, but also wind, weather, everything. So today I made it 14.4 miles on the island in a little bit of wind, kind of just messing around. I wasn't really riding efficiently, and I was down to 1%. I'll kind of show you my little thing here. Top speed was like 17.5, but I think my average was like 13. I was just putzing around the island shooting some video for this video. And but I gotta say, it is the coolest, most fun toy I've ever had. It is, I put the Fangs, the 3.0 on it because you can see the top speed on my board is 19.9 because I definitely had to find that point and nosedived it and got very lucky not to lose my face because I just barely outran it without going to the ground. But these are a worthwhile addition. Otherwise, it's a very stock board. I put a fender on it day one, so I didn't want my legs all messy all the time. But I've had it for like 5.5, 6 weeks, and I've got 318 miles on it. And this week I've got 74 miles, but I really got it to have fun on this island, and it was exactly what I wanted it to be. It's only Thursday. I probably won't hit 100 miles, but I'll probably hit 85, 90 miles at least before we leave. So can't recommend this thing anymore. It is a blast. It is super rugged and well built. I'll link it in the description. But the XR is worth it. The mileage, on an island like this, by the time you get to town and back, you burn the battery. So I would definitely spring for the XR. It's a heck of a machine. So I'll see you guys next time.